On today's episode, your North American HYROX champion, Ryan Kent. Welcome to the OCR Report podcast, brought to you by the OCRReport.com. We are the only podcast to focus exclusively on the elite sport of obstacle course racing, from Spartan to Tough Mudder to the OCR World Championships, and wherever the elites are racing, we are there. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the OCR Report. Welcome back to the OCR Report podcast. Happy 2022. How is your new year going? I've talked about it before. New Year's Day is my favorite holiday of the year because it doesn't matter who you are, or it's not based on any religious, like literally everyone can. So it doesn't matter if you're single, like Valentine's Day, like New Year's Day, everyone can celebrate it no matter who you are. It's a fresh start. It's a reboot. It's a turn it off and turn it back on kind of holiday. I love New Year's Day. I love January. I love everything about kicking it off with a new start. How is your 2022 going? We're a few weeks into it. Good to talk with you again. We're recording. We're talking in the third week of January. There have been a few OCR races already this year, but they're really kicking in this weekend. This weekend, January 29th, there are 5 races on the calendar. So if you are looking to get at it, now is the time. In fact, let's talk some news. This weekend is the kickoff of the 2022 OCR calendar with 5 races, including Spartan SoCal, Tough Mudder SoCal, Crash Dash OCR in Austin, KC Timber Challenge Yeti Race in Kansas, and the Abominable Snow Race in Wisconsin. Tough Mudder and Spartan both have events in SoCal this weekend, but they're not at the same venue. They're 2 separate events. It's not a crossover like Florida last year. And then 3 other smaller races. 2 of them are snow races, which I think I've never done a snow OCR, the KC Timber Challenge in Kansas and the Abominable Snow Race in Wisconsin. Have you ever done a snow race? How Spartan does one, or they have done one. I don't know. Let me check if they're doing it this year. It's I love the concept. I love the cold. Anyway, let me know. Have you done a snow race? 619-485-2726. Shoot me a text. I would love to hear about your snow race experience. Are you running Spartan or Tough Mudder this weekend? I will be at Tough Mudder SoCal. I will be doing my first 5K with my son, my first Tough Mudder with my son, the Tough Mudder 5K. So that'll be a fun experience. He did the Tough Mudder Kids one years ago, and Tough Mudder featured him on their social media. It was kind of cool. But so first big race weekend of the year coming up. Another news item for your interests. I was a guest on the Obstacle Running Adventures podcast with Mike Stefano. So if you are looking for more Will Hicks content, which, come on, you're not, but maybe you want to listen to more OCR stuff, you should check that out. Obstacle Running Adventures. I'll have a link in the show notes. You can find it on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. On a personal note, congratulations to my nephew, Tyler Wallish, will be in the Olympics this year. True story. He competes in ski cross. So if you're watching the old Winter Olympics with the family this, February? Next month, you can root for him. Tyler Wallish in ski cross. Something else cool going on. We have a promotion. The OCR Report is working with Builder Nutrition to challenge you to hashtag Beat Hunter. There are 8 races you can compete against Hunter McIntyre at. And if you want to win fabulous prizes, there's a fabulous prize pack worth over $104. All you have to do is 3 things. 1, call your shot. 2, beat Hunter. Good luck. And 3 win fabulous prizes. For more information on that, go to the OCR Report Instagram at the OCR Report. This past weekend was the HYROX North American Championships. We're going to talk with our guest, Ryan Kent, about those. Ryan won the contest for the men. Let's talk about some results. In first place, Ryan Kent, a time of 57:45. In second place, Hunter McIntyre, 58:49. And in third place, Rich Ryan, 1 hour and 35 seconds. For the women, North American HYROX Championship. In first place, Lauren Weeks in 107.03. In second, Rachel Vondrasch with 107.30. And in third, Alyssa Hawley, 108.41. Congratulations to all the podium winners. If you enjoy OCR content, you should follow the OCR Report on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/the OCR Report. We are posting more of our content there. Our live race coverage will be there. We would love to see you over on YouTube. youtube.com/the OCR Report. And of course, Instagram. I am very proud of our Instagram account. Instagram.com/the OCR Report. If you want race results, if you want course maps, if you want infographics explaining how do you become a contender at World's Toughest Mudder, or where are the races in the North American Elite Championship Series, or the Canadian National Series, or the Mexican National Series, check those. You can find those infographics and all that information over on the OCR Report Instagram, instagram.com/the OCR Report, as well as our photo of the day, which is pretty cool. We have the best photographer in the sport. His name is Jack Goris. He goes to the big races for us, takes pictures. He's amazing, does amazing work. Award-winning photographer. You can check out all of our pictures at the OCRreport.com website. But you can also check out Photo of the Day, OCR Photo of the Day, on Instagram. If you just search for the hashtag OCR Photo of the Day, and you'll find those pictures. Our guest today is Ryan Kent. Ryan is well known to the OCR community, and he's typically competed in shorter races and the stadium type races. He's made transition is the right word, but he's also been competing in a lot of the hybrid fitness, the DECA, the HYROX races, and he's been doing very, very well. In fact, this past weekend, he competed in the HYROX North American Championships and won the race. It's his first major championship win. Very excited for Ryan Kent. Before we talk with Ryan, let's read some iTunes reviews.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars. 5 stars.
No reviews today, but do you know what you can do? You can now go to Spotify and leave a review for the podcast. So if you've left a review in the past on Apple Podcasts, jump on Spotify. You can't actually write anything. All you need to do is just click the stars, and you can rate it as many stars as you want. You can rate it 1 star, or 2 stars, or 3 stars, or 4 stars, or 5 stars. You can also leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts if you would like. Open the purple podcast app on your phone or your iPad. Search for the OCR Report. Scroll down to click Write a Review, and I will read it on a future episode. I appreciate it. It's time to talk with Ryan Kent. Let's go to the phones. Ryan Kent, welcome back to the show.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Ryan, you won the HYROX North American Championship this weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was pretty awesome race. It's actually the first time in my career that I've been named like a North American or world champion of anything, like even dating back to just doing Spartan race. I came close a couple times in West Virginia at the North American Championships, but I've never been like a champion, like a North American champion. So it's pretty special. Yeah.
Muhammad Ali has that quote, train. I don't know. I'm butchering it. You know what I'm talking about? Train to be a champion and train. I should look it up before I tell you. But like the rest of your life, you're that champion.
Right. Live, train every day. Sucks or something, but live the rest of your life as a champion.
I'm gonna look it up when we.
We're killing it, dude.
That's why we're not Muhammad Ali, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been a couple days since the race. How do you feel physically?
What's funny is yesterday I woke up, which was the day after, and I told my wife, I said, I'm not doing anything today. Like, I'm just gonna sit around the couch. I'm gonna eat donuts, like whatever I want. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy it. But I found myself later in the day. I don't know if it's from all the donuts I had in the morning, but I had all this energy to burn. And I typically do the best thinking and reflecting when I'm out there, like running. So I headed out for a run, and I told my wife, I was like, I don't know when I'm going to come back, but whenever I feel like I'm ready, I'll be back home. And I ended up doing the longest run that I've done, like even like building up to HYROX. I almost ran for like 2 hours yesterday. Legs were a little bit sore, but it wasn't like anything too crazy. And I actually feel better today than I did, yesterday. So the physical damage component is there, but I think, I think my body was ready to go through something like that. So I'm, maybe not as sore as, I could have been.
Ryan, I think you're a good example for people who are, regular people. They work a 9-to-5 job, but they know that fitness is important. You have a regular job, just like, 95% of the people out there, and you trained up and you won the biggest race of the year so far.
Yeah. There's the biggest thing I've had to sacrifice is sleep. I probably don't get as much as I should be getting, but I'm willing to give that up in order to, commit to something I have, a high passion for. And there were a lot of, dark, like literally working out in headlamps, in the morning time before the sun comes up. And it's all about making time for the things that, make you happy and that are important to you. And for me, fitness, and competing and things like that, like that's just a huge part of my life. And I'm willing to give up, sleep to make that happen.
How much sleep do you get a night?
I would say I average 6.5 to 7 throughout the week. And then I just have to make sure on my weekends, I try to get like 9.5 to kind of, balance some of that out. I've got a pretty good system down. I was tracking my sleep hours for like a long time. Just cause I wanted to know, because, with training and then a physically demanding job, with UPS, and then coming home and having to, switch into, husband and dad mode. Like, I just wanted to know kind of how sleep was affecting my behavior and like, yeah, just like all those things. So I was tracking it for a while. Now I've got it pretty dialed in. And yeah, as long as I, on my weekends, I try to sleep a little extra, it kind of makes up for the sleep I don't get throughout the week.
What did you find out when you were tracking your sleep? Could you tell like mood difference or?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I need, like, there were times when I might, get less than 6. And that would definitely affect, my mood, just like my actions. So I would, might have to try to go to bed earlier the next night to make up for it, try to get 8. But I think as long as I can keep it somewhere around like 6.5 to 7 throughout the week, and then get, an extra hour or 2 above the 8-hour mark, on the weekends, I'm pretty good.
Are you going to be at the HYROX World Championships this May?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the biggest, most important race of the season for me. I've kind of gone, well, I shouldn't say it's one of the two, because we've got the DECA championships later in the year, but that's, 6 months after the HYROX championships. So a lot of time in between those two, but now that I've gone like all in on the hybrid kind of things, the DECA events and the HYROX are like my championship races. So I know Spartan race is going to have a couple things probably throughout the year. But I'm not following those like I used to.
Will we see you at any Spartan races, the stadiums maybe, or anything?
Yeah, I'm always going to put the Dallas one on the calendar just because it's my favorite stadium race. It's kind of a yearly thing I like to go do. And then I'm planning on doing the first race of the North American Elite Series in Spartan in San Luis Obispo in March. So right now that's other than a DECA Strong I have coming up next month here in Denver. I'm really just going to probably focus on that first Spartan race in Slow coming up in March.
So the OCR report is running this promotion right now with Builder Nutrition it's a hashtag Beat Hunter. And so we have this we have this thing where if you call your shot, then you beat Hunter, you win a fabulous prize pack worth over $104. And you beat Hunter this weekend.
Where's my gifts?
But you didn't call your shot, man. Like
I called it internally.
Okay.
I kept it inside.
I can't post that. I can't post your internal call your shots.
I maybe told my wife too, but I didn't want to. I've been that guy in the past that likes to get on social media and post the day before a race. Like, yeah, I'm ready for this race. Like, training's been going great. I'm ready to rock. And really kind of all that ends up doing is putting a little more pressure on yourself. So yeah, this weekend I kind of went in silent. I knew the race that I had in DECA the week before was that spoke enough for me. Like I didn't need to say anything else leading into HYROX. So I kind of slid on in there. Like maybe people were a little unsure about what I was going to do because I didn't do any HYROX really last year. So not much trash talking or calling my shot this time, but we'll see.
That's an interesting thing you bring up because there's two schools of thought on goal setting. Some people say when you set a goal, make it public, tell everybody, and you'll have all these people to keep you accountable. And then other people will say, don't tell anyone, like set your goals, keep it to yourself, smash them, and then talk about it afterwards. It sounds like you're more of a let's talk about it afterwards kind of guy, at least right now.
Yeah. And competing used to be something where I really just wanted to beat a certain individual. Like it was all about beating the other people. It was never really about getting the most out of myself. The number one goal was always just to beat Hunter, beat Atkins. And now my mindset, and I don't really know where this switch, when it happened, but it's more of like the latter of what I just said. Like, just go out there, like you've put in the work, go out there, run your race, and kind of just let the chips fall where they may. Like don't get caught up in trying to beat a certain person. If you're ready to beat them, you'll beat them. But don't let that be the top goal of the day, because more times than not, you're just kind of setting yourself up for, an outcome that, isn't great. So
that's a pretty big shift in mindset.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe now that I have a job and I don't feel that financial pressure to, win so I can get a paycheck, like I have many theories about where it came from, but I don't really know. I just know that now I'm racing with more happiness and joy for it rather than just like, I've got to beat so-and-so, like that's cool and all. Like it felt really good to beat Hunter, but that wasn't, what I went in saying. It was just like, let's go out there and like celebrate all the work you've done, like all the, those dark mornings in the headlamp. Like, let's just go out there and do the best you can. And like, if your best is good enough, then, that's great.
If you had finished with the exact same time, but it was like fourth place, obviously first place is always better, but do you think you could still walk away with that same, like, you know what, I did my best, I trained up, and
if I would have ran 57:45 and finished fourth this past weekend, I would have been stoked. I would have just been like, look, man, like I freaking came really close to what the world record is. And I got beat by 3 other guys. Those guys clearly just outperformed me today. And I think I could live with that. I told my wife before the race, I said, I'd rather run the race that I want to run. And if it doesn't work out, like I can live with that result. But if I get caught up in the craziness and, blow myself up by running a stupid race and things don't work out that way, I'm just going to like be pissed. So I really just ran my own race. And I know it may not seem that way because I pretty much led the event from start to finish, but it wasn't like I was pushing really hard on that first run and ski erg. Like, even though I was out in front, like it felt comfortable. Like I was running my own race. Had I slowed down and waited for the pack because I felt like I was going too fast, that would have been running someone else's race. I just went and did my thing. And, throughout the race, it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I was able to, feed off that throughout the race.
We hear that a lot. Run your own race. But I think the reason we hear that so much is because it's true. Like it's a underlying philosophy of OCR, especially. Run your own. Like maybe you're going to be first, maybe you'll be 10th, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these events are long, like 57 minutes is a long effort. There has to be some pacing involved in an event like that. And yeah, there's times where you may need to cross over into, a higher heart rate than you want. But then there's also places where you can recover a little bit. So having a game plan and just like running your own race, you can't just shoot out like a cannon and just, hold on until the flame burns out. You got to keep that flame burning for almost 60 minutes.
How did it feel just emotionally when you crossed the finish line?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. I mean, you could see I was pretty hype. I feel like I've had my whole career, I felt like I've just had like a chip on my shoulder, people doubting me, me doubting me at times. It's like all of that kind of comes out of me when I have the result that I've wanted that moment that I had this week. And I've wanted that for years, and for whatever reason, it wasn't meant to be then. And, but I stuck to it, like I've always believed in myself and I've always known what I could do. And finally, it all just comes to fruition. And it's like, how can you not be psyched, and like, let all this stuff come out of you.
You're recently married and a dad. How has that affected your career, your outs?
Well, clearly it's benefiting me because I'm having some of the best success that I've had throughout my entire career. And I don't know, like maybe it's giving more structure to my life. I'm way more focused on my training when I have to focus on it than I did when I was a full-time athlete, because I just had all the flexibility and time in the world to get things done throughout the day. And now I know, like, I have a smaller window to get my training in. So I really have to be like, there's no effing around. Like, it's got to go at this time and you need to be ready. And maybe that little extra, focus is kind of, taking me to the next level.
Isn't that interesting? You have less time. You have 24 hours, but you have less training time, but you're able to do more with it now just because of the focus.
Yeah. Yep.
Ryan, do you have any sponsors or anything you want to plug?
Oh yeah. I'll give a shout out to Athletic Brewing. Those guys have been phenomenal. I feel like I came onto that team when they first kind of entered obstacle racing. I remember the first SoCal race that that I met the founders of the company, and to see them grow and have the success that they've had. And Spartan racing, they're now kind of in some of the hybrid space too. And like seeing their beers and like all the, Whole Foods and supermarkets. It couldn't happen to a better company, better group of guys. And yeah, I'm just super thankful that they've supported me up until now.
How can people follow you on social media?
They can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Drop the Hammer. The only issue there is in the drop, it's a 0, not an O, because someone else had it. So I had to go with the O or I don't know. It's an O or a 0. I can't remember.
I think you got the 0. I think they got the O.
Okay. So yeah, at Drop the Hammer on Instagram. I guess I should say I had messages galore after this weekend. I'm usually pretty good at getting back to people if you send me a private message. But right now they're a little backdated from all the people that, wanted to congratulate me from this weekend. So I'll try to get around to you guys.
Just real quick, Spartan dropped the trailer for season 2 of Spartan Games this week. I know we can't talk about the results yet, but you competed season 2. What was it like to be back there, on Spartan Games?
Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of the same ordeal, just taking place in 2 different, locations with a few different event changes. But a lot of it was very similar. We were in a mountainous environment, crazy terrain. Weather was, cold and uncomfortable. Some of the same competitors. And I mean, it was fun. I think when you go into an event like that, you kind of have an idea of how it's going to shake out. Because it's like mountain biking. I know I don't do much mountain biking, for example, so I kind of know where I'm going to stack up in an event like that. But there's so many other little things that happen along the way that maybe you didn't expect and could kind of swing things in your favor or the opposite direction. And then it's kind of all cool to see everything get added up after 4 days to kind of see where you stand at the end of it. And it was a lot of fun. I compete against a lot of the people that were there. I compete against everywhere else too. So it was a fun couple of days getting to hang out with some of your friends, but also kind of throwing down with them too.
Ryan, any last thoughts on the HYROX World Championships or anything else?
Let's go Team USA. I was stoked to see Rich Ryan come in third. I know a lot of the work that he's put in. He almost cracked that 60-minute barrier. I think the United States is, going to be the class of the field in Vegas. I think there might be 1, maybe 2 guys from Europe that could come over and do well. But I think we could sweep that podium, and I think that's a pretty good goal to shoot for.
Ryan Kent, thanks much.
Yeah, man, you got it.
Special thanks to Ryan Kent for appearing in this episode. Well done, Ryan. Good luck in Vegas with the HYROX World. Don't forget to leave a review for the podcast on Spotify. Go to Spotify on your app. Click that star button. It's good to be back. Shoot me a text, 619-485-2726. I will talk with you soon. Go spend time with someone you love.